Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, Fragrance Fan. Go ahead and do me a solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification. And I'm just going to keep on giving you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews, 40-ish and under dollar range. Most of these are way less than that, and a good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. The one I'm talking about today, I've actually never seen in the rack store. It wouldn't surprise me if it did pop up in the rack store because I see this brand there quite often. And I'm talking about the House of Sapil. This one is Bound. So this is a weird looking bottle. Don't know how I feel about it. Kind of more on the ugly side to me. The cap is plastic and cheap. Clips really nicely into place. It's hefty. The atomizer, the average atomizer. So, some of you might already know this, but this is a clone of Giorgio Armani's Code Profumo. I've only smelled that a couple times a while ago. I haven't got my nose on it recently to be able to compare these two. From what I remember, this is quite close to that. If I remember correctly, this is a bit sharper up top, just a little bit sharper. And I don't remember Perfumer having as much leather right up front as this one does. It did in the dry down, but this one, right off the bat, you're gonna get a good dose of that oriental spice, leather, and woodiness. There's the tonka bean and the amber in here. There's also some stuff like, I believe there's like orange blossom in here, and there's also mandarin and cardamom. But mainly what you get out of this fragrance is a spicy, leathery, kind of sweet, can't think of the word right there. For some reason, gourmandy. A gourmandy type of a fragrance. I don't know why that left my brain, but I captured it. So, since I can't remember exactly what Profumo smells like, so I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive that this is a little bit spicier right up top, a little bit, not necessarily spicier, but sharper up top with more leather in the beginning. But what I can compare this to is, if you're familiar with Halloween Man X, take the coffee note out of Halloween Man X, amp up the leather, and it's kind of like this. Not quite as spicy, but the dry down is very similar to that. Take the coffee out, amp the leather up, and the dry down on both of these is very similar, because when I was wearing this, I was thinking in my head like, wow, what's that remind me of? Oh, one of my favorite fragrances, Halloween Man X. This is great for the fall time, winter, early days of spring. This is a 3-season fragrance, long lasting. This thing lasts a good amount of time. I was getting, every time I was wearing it was a little bit later in the day, and I was getting 7, maybe 8 hours, and then I would go to sleep. So, and it was still pushing off decent. I don't think it was going to go much more than that. So this is a good 8-hour fragrance. So that's pretty good. That's what I want in a dark, this is a nighttime type of a fragrance too, in an evening, cooler weather fragrance, something that's loud, projects, and lasts a long time, and this thing does all of that. This is a very, very, it's a sexy smelling fragrance. This thing smells very nice. For the price tag that you pick this up, under $20. I just got this thing September 2023, and I paid like 18 bucks for this, or maybe even less. It might have been like $16, which is a steal for this fragrance because the quality isn't that bad. It's a little harsh right up front, and what are you going to expect for such an inexpensive fragrance? But overall, in the dry down and everything, this thing is kind of addicting. It's a very, very, very nice, rich, spicy, oriental, gourmandy, somewhat sweet from the amber and the tonka bean type of a fragrance. If you see this thing at the rack store, go ahead and smell this thing and tell me what you think of it. If you have any experience with this thing, let me know what you think about it. I've wore this thing many times in the past few days, and I've been enjoying it a whole lot. My overall rating on this thing, I will give this, I'll give it a 7.5, because the projection and the performance is so good, and scent profile alone is like right at that 7. It's not mind-blowing, but it's really, really good. But that projection and everything really helps me give this thing a 7.5. Any age range can enjoy this. I think it might be a little bit more mature because of the spicy oriental nature of this, but it's sweet enough, and it's It's not so serious or anything like that. So I think pretty much most people can enjoy this. Not really a blind buy fragrance. If you notice, I've been giving kind of high ratings on a lot of my fragrances lately. It's because most of them I've done a lot of research on, and or I have smelled it already, so I don't want to spend my money on something that I don't already like. But my blind buys, I do have some that I have ordered, but I still did my research on them. This one, same thing. So that's why. But when I do my unboxing and stuff on regular fragrances, then you know, I might start dropping down some of those numbers because there's a lot of garbage still out there. But this thing is a good fragrance. It's a solid fragrance. And it comes recommended. If you want a nice fragrance for the fall, winter, early days of spring, this thing is going to do the job well and probably get you a whole bunch of compliments too, because it's one of those kind of fragrances. If you like leather spicy, heavy on the leather. I love it. So that's my final thoughts on Sapil's Bound. With that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always. And until next time.